Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we are going to talk about what is your most disappointing Dalek story in modern Doctor Who. So the modern series, the 2005 reboot onwards, what story, just you personally, subjectively, which Dalek story do you find the most disappointing, for whatever reason? Mine is very easy, I know this one immediately, and that's the Magician's Apprentice and the Witch's Familiar two-parter. This story is my least favorite Dalek story of all time. It does a lot of very dumb things. I think it first lost me when I saw, the stuff with Missy at the beginning and Unit is just, it's drawn out. It doesn't need to be there with the plane stopped in midair and the, oh, Missy, you're so fine, and everything there is dumb. And then they finally locate the Doctor and he plays a guitar while riding in on the tank, which some people think is cool, but it isn't the Doctor. It's very dumb. It's like the Doctor is having a midlife crisis. I mean, he is kind of having a crisis, but that's exactly what it feels like, a midlife crisis. And I do. No. Now, I like the opening with Davros. As a kid, genius. Great opening. That's a neat idea. I love that. I didn't see that coming. It was a good reveal. It had me going, whoa. I love that. When he says, Davros, my name is Davros, and you see that look on Capaldi's face. Wonderful opening. Story doesn't live up to it at all. I think it really loses me when you see Capaldi ride into the room in Davros's chair. And some people might think that's funny. Some people might think that's neat. I think it's dumb. As soon as I saw Capaldi in Davros's chair, I knew Moffat wasn't taking this seriously. And to be fair, Moffat is terrible at writing the Daleks. Moffat is great. He's one of the best Doctor Who writers. He's written a lot of good episodes. Let's be honest, Moffat did not know how to write the Daleks. He was not good at writing the Daleks. He just fundamentally does not get the Daleks, in my opinion. I think his best Dalek story is probably Victory of the Daleks, which I really like Victory of the Daleks, but I don't think many people have it up there in like masterpiece, masterclass story writing when it comes to Dalek stories. I mean, who's going to put Victory up there with Power and Genesis and Evil and Dalek and stuff like that? Most people don't. But I think Victory's his best one. And man, it seemed like this feels like a parody almost at times. And when I saw him in there and he's like, anyone for Dodgems, I was like, and then it shows Davros laying on the ground with just the wiring sticking out of his lower torso and hand calling for help. And it totally invalidates the threat of this character. It diminishes him when you see him just on the ground, help, I've fallen and I can't get up, basically. One, how is he still alive? His life support system is the chair. So how is he still alive? It even mentions that in Destiny. He has backup life support systems in the chair. I don't see how he's still alive. Two, I mean, it really does. The character, Davros, does not feel like a threat at all anymore. It completely rips that away from him. And I don't like that. The snake guy is kind of a neat concept. I like him. I don't think he's utilized well, but I like him. He's an interesting idea as a concept. There is some really good moments between Capaldi and Davros here, the 12th Doctor and Davros, that are very good and could have been amazing if they had been genuine. Like, I love when they talk. I love when Davros is playing the Do I Have the Right speech from Genesis, because that's very fitting considering, the Doctor had met Davros as a child. That really brings that whole speech of, imagine if someone pointed out a child to you. That really puts that in context for the episode. And that's neat. I like that. Their whole exchange there is really good, really touching. When he talks about, having saved the Time Lords and Davros, I'm happy for you, seriously. You really have this moment between them. And the first time I was watching that, I was loving it. It was so well acted, so well shot. And that bit about, well, then we have only established one thing. You are not a very good doctor. And they share that laugh together, and I love it. It is wonderful. And then comes the bit when he opens his eyes. And it's Listen all over again, where Moffat has something really good going, and he just shits all over the bed. Just shits the bed completely. Diuretic. Rapid fire shitting all over the bed. Completely ruins it. When he opens his eyes, this is once again where I'm like, Moffat is not taking this seriously. Because it makes no sense. Now, maybe his eyes were destroyed and technology is just advanced enough that he has them remade. Maybe they could be regrown. Something like that. Maybe he just got them back later and then for some reason still decided not to use them. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt here. But it's a dumb idea, and it's done just for plot convenience because he has to be able to do that. It needs to be a touching moment in the story right there, and it needs to give us an excuse for him to trick Capaldi into giving him regeneration energy later. It's all there for plot, even though it doesn't make sense in the rest of the canon at all. It's very dumb. Dum 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 dum. And then the fact that it all turns out to be a con ruins it. The fact that it is the snake guy disguised as the Cables and Davros tries to steal the regeneration energy, it's so stupid. And it didn't need to do that. If that had been genuine, the exchanges between them, it would have worked so much better. And you could have done it. Because even if that was genuine and Davros was dying, the Doctor's a time traveler. He easily could have encountered Davros in future stories. The reason they wouldn't do that is because Davros is a character they don't want to permanently die. He's one of those, like all the other major ones in Doctor Who. They're always going to pop back up randomly, from now till forever. You're going to have the Master come back somehow or another. I always knew the Master would have to come back evil again some point or another. The Daleks are always going to come back. Cybermen are always going to come back. Davros is always going to come back. It's just how it is. But being a time traveler, you could have always just had him encounter younger versions of Davros. He didn't have... This could be Davros. Could be like the curator version of Davros, way in the future at the end of his life. Just like, we'll probably never see the Doctor get to that point in his timeline when he's the curator. We'll probably never quite get there because you get the impression that that's way, way ahead in the Doctor's timeline when he's retired. So we'll probably never actually get to that, but it'll always be there. We don't have to get to that. There's so much playroom between that. It's the same thing with Davros here. This could be just a super, super old version of Davros with so much playroom in between. The Doctor could have just ran into earlier incarnations of him. Or you could have him run into clones with him. Maybe Davros set up a clone of himself. You could always have had the Doctor run into clones of Davros and a clone body. There are things you could have done to have made this genuine. It could have worked. They just didn't try. And I do like the bit when Missy kind of pokes him in the eye. It's a little silly, but it's a very Missy thing to do. And the whole thing with all of the Daleks in the sewers coming up, like somehow the Daleks ended up in the drain because they just turned into mush, and that rejuvenated all of them. That's silly. It's so silly. It's so dumb. One, it doesn't seem like something Davros would overlook to me, but it's also just silly and dumb. There are some neat ideas in here, but they're so buried under all the dumb, and there's a lot of dumb, that it just ruins the story. I don't understand how people like this story. And then there's the part when Clara's in the thing, like when the fact they say exterminate to reload, that's dumb. That's dumb. They say exterminate, that's how they reload. Why? They say exterminate because they want to exterminate. Reload, that's so dumb. And then when like Clara's trying to say some stuff and the Dalek's saying other stuff, I don't like that either. That seems dumb. For me, the Daleks say the stuff they say because that's what they want to say, not it's me, kill, exterminate. I am Clara, I am a Dalek. I don't like that. I get that it's maybe necessary for the plot of the episode for him to realize, wait a minute, why does the Dalek have a concept of mercy? That could have been done better. There's a lot of dumb in this episode, a lot of dumb. It could be the dumbest Dalek story ever made, too. Just a lot of dumb. And easily the most disappointing for me. I don't like this one. I've watched it more than once. I've watched it probably 3 or 4 times, but I don't like it. I don't care for it. The acting is great in it. Capaldi is great in it. The guy playing Davros is good in it. It's not. I just don't care for it. So that is my thoughts on that. I would like to know which Dalek story from the modern series do you think is the most disappointing to you personally. So comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. My goal is to reach 700 subscribers by the end of March. So help me out with that if you haven't subscribed yet. And all the other fun things, I've got a link to my Patreon down in the description below if you would like to support me that way. My entry level tier is only $2 a month. Give a very special shout out to one of my top tier supporters, Stephen Crane. I appreciate his support and the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box down there if you would like to send me anything to review that way, and a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.